Hey everyone, welcome to week 5. So here's week 5's agenda. We're going to focus on unit 10 and unit 11. Unit 10, we're going to focus on locating the building on the site. So site plans are going to be discussed in this unit. Unit 11 will focus on the site utilities. So gas, water, sewer, electrical, things like that. So these all kind of tie together, you guys. So the assignments are going to be read the units, so 10 and 11 of your textbook, and then we're going to use the 1402 Charles Street plan, which is going to be in your plans folder, and that's what we're going to use to do our assignment questions. The assignment questions are going to be based off of the site plan for that particular house. And then after you've completed that, we're going to do your journal entry. So give me a couple of key points that you've learned for this unit. So all right, so what I thought I would do is pull up 1402 Charles Street and then give you guys an understanding of what a site plan looks like. So let me pull that up for you. So here's our plan. There's 4 sheets to this particular house. This is a house we did a year or two ago for the city of La Crosse. And so all of the plans that you'll see in residential will have a site plan. So I'm going to blow this up. So what are some important things and important information, when we're looking at these site plans? So first of all, a site plan is a plan view. So we've learned that from our existing units. So we're looking at this thing from the top down. So what I'm doing, guys, is first thing I'm going to do is you want to look and orientate yourself in the compass direction of the lot. So most site plans are going to have a compass. So this guy, this architect here, drew it right here. So he's indicating north this direction. All right. And how is that information useful to you? Well, depending on how he's got his elevation drawings listed, he might have them north, south, east, or west. So if you don't know where north is, it's going to be hard to figure out what direction that view is coming from, right? So let's just take a little peek here. He has got elevations listed in compass direction, right? North elevation, let's just look. It's going to be back here, right? How do I know that? Because these things right here are the egress window wells, and let's just look and let's acclimate ourselves here, and it looks like I've got 2 window wells right here. All right, so that's a very easy and quick way to start figuring out and getting yourself acclimated and orientated. Remember, that's that term we learned to the drawing. So now, what am I also looking for? Well, we're going to look for lot dimensions and lot lines. So anytime you guys see this dashed stuff here, this is indicating lot line information. So it's very kind of hard to see here. Let me blow it up a little bit. So you have this long, short, 2 short dashes, long dash, 2 short dashes. That's indicating what the lot lines are, okay, on this particular plan. So if I asked you a question, for instance, what would be the width, or what would be the lot dimension for this particular thing? House thing, not a thing, it's a house. So you're going to go up here, and typically they're going to be listed. So we have 140 feet deep, and let's just look and see if we've got a, okay, here, right here. So 50 feet is the width of this lot. So 50 by 140 is our lot. So this is in the city of La Crosse, all right? So that kind of information is going to be useful. Other things will be like, if I asked you a question like, I'm just looking at this and getting acclimated. It looks like I have 2 streets here. I have Logan Street. There's a city sidewalk here. And then also, let me zoom out a little bit. I have a Charles Street. So the address is 1402 Charles. All right. So in my head, I'm thinking automatically in my noodle up here, I'm going, okay, this is going to be a corner lot. So I'm going to have, and the giveaway would be there's two sets of sidewalks here, right? So it's a corner lot. I've got two streets on two sides. And then I'm going to start looking at things like, all right, I do have a garage. It looks like it's a detached garage, all right? And how do I access the garage? Well, we're in the city, so a very good guess would be through the alley somewhere. So right here we have a public alley. So off of Logan Street, I could hook in and I could go and get into my garage this way. Looks like the garage is 24 by 24. And I have a little sidewalk. It looks like I'm going to go into the rear of the home from that way. All right, so I'm just acclimating myself. I'm looking. It looks like a front entry is coming up off of Charles Street. So in my mind, I'm thinking that's probably going to be the front of the house. All right. Now, when I talk about setbacks, what is a setback? Well, that's the distance from the property line. All right, and that's very, very important when we're looking at site plans. Why is that important? Because this is how we set the house on the lot. And front and side yard setbacks are going to be, we don't make those up. The entity that does is the local municipalities. So when you go, you're going to have a building permit to build this house, and on that building permit will be a site plan indicating this information right here. All right. So let's just take a look and see, like if I asked you a question like, what would be the front setback of this house? So off of Charles Street. So one thing to keep in mind, the setbacks are always going to be from the lot line. So remember I said this is the lot line. So if I'm looking for a setback, I see a dimension here, 13 feet 6, and this would be to the foundation of the house. But then there's another set of information here. It says 13 feet 6 inch setback. So I know that the front is that, okay? So that's clearly indicated here, very easy to understand. So what about the side yard setback? So on the north side here, to the property line, I have 10 feet. Okay, because I'm right to the foundation. On the south side here, I've got a whole bunch of different, dimensions right here. So the one that's closest to the lot line is going to be the south side yard setback. So what do we got here? I know it's 8 feet to here, but it looks like on Charles Street here, this juts out. There's a little bump out right here. So that would be what I'd be looking for in this case. So I'll blow this up. I have 6 feet. Okay. So that's how you start thinking about setbacks and where the house is going to be. There's other information here. So if we're dealing with the city, we've got concrete sidewalk to city standards, so that's all part of the building process. We go in and we excavate and do all that. If we wreck the sidewalk that's already existing, then we have to replace it. So there's dimensions and things here for that. We also have to think about, guys, erosion control. What is that? Well, that's going to be a requirement set by the DNR, but it's really policed through the building inspection department. And so that's going to be in the form of silt fence, things that prevent, like during, let's say, a heavy rain, and if we have a newly excavated site, that it doesn't get out into the streets and get into the storm sewer and then, pollute our waterways and things like that. So in the city, there's flat lots, generally speaking, but if you get out into a subdivision where it's hilly, this really comes into play a lot more, and it's policed a lot heavier. But nonetheless, let's look and see what we've got for erosion control. So, look at right here. We have this little, icon here, and then here we have a leader line. Okay, this is pointing to continuous silt fence, and that continuous silt fence is going to go all the way around the property line, right? So you'll find out that as we're building and as you guys go out to the building sites, it's kind of a nuisance at certain times because it's going to be in the way. We're constantly, we're trying to get equipment and materials and things in there. So we just got to be aware and cognizant of putting it back up if we take a section of it down so that we can get in and out of it. All right, so we have that type of stuff to deal with. Then, any other information on this site plan is going to be here. Okay, so we're going to place the house. So think of it like that. All right. Now, where do all the utilities and everything come into play? Well, a lot of that's going to be coordinated with your general contractor and his subcontractor. So, for instance, it's the plumber's responsibility to get the water line into the house, right? And when that is done, it's going to be generally after the foundation gets poured. All right, so he's going to tie in to the city water and sewer. So wherever that's located from the street, that's what he's going to do. So he's going to tap in, and then that gets trenched in all the way into the house. So it's the same, guys, with the electrician. He's going to either go overhead or underground with the electrical service, all right? And that's coordinated again with your general contractor and the electrician, all right? And then the gas is the same way. You're either going to use, your heating guy is going to coordinate that, but that's all XL Energy, and that's all, done through the general contractor coordinating all this kind of stuff. And then he talks with the homeowner and tries to pick out locations. Now, sometimes you're just governed where it goes in and comes out, right? You want to try to hide, your electrical meter and service. A lot of people want to hide that. They don't want that in the front of the house. In this case, we've got two streets, so it might be hidden back here somewhere. But anyway, that's all coordinated and done. So those are site utilities, telecommunications, and things like that get dug in as well. This all gets flagged out. The excavator is going to come in. 811 or diggers hotlines called. They come in and flag any utilities that might be there, and then the process gets started. So reading a site plan, this is the kind of information you're going to be asked to identify. As a carpenter and as a general contractor, it's important. This is where the house gets set, and this is where everything is started from. It's not necessarily, a huge deal as a carpenter, because you guys are going to come in afterwards. But for the general, he's here and he's coordinating with all the other subcontractors and the building inspection department, and all that is done up front. And so, as you can see, there's a lot of initial work that you need to do to ensure that this process is done correctly and you have a good foundation, to start to build this house from, right? So once that's done, everybody comes back. The excavator will backfill and prepare the site, and then that's where the building process actually starts. All right, so let's work on these questions, guys, and a site plan will look similar to this. Architects will draw them differently, but this is all the information, though, basically, that you're going to find. If you're on a slope lot, sometimes the architects will have surveyors come out and you'll see topographical lines with elevations, all right? So don't be surprised, like if you look at the lake house plans in your plans folder, that's going to look a little bit different, but the principle is the same. That's showing exactly where the house is being set on this lot. The difference is you're going to have a whole bunch of elevations and topographical lines on here showing grade changes, things like that. All right, as always, any questions, give me a call or email me or use the discussion board. Guys, have a good week, and we will see you soon.